Hello, this is Nancy Heins-Glaser with another wonderful Meet the Artist program, and tonight I have somebody whose subject matter is near and dear to my heart. I have Dorothy Siclare, a visual artist, oil painter extraordinaire, and animal lover. And people lover too, you do paint people. But one of the things that I was most moved by is the animal portraits on your card. And we've been having conversations throughout the country now. Animals are at risk, money is down, shelters are having to close, people are hoarding animals. And it just hit me that you are the perfect person to come and talk about your wonderful paintings and what animals mean in our lives, and actually why you do this kind of work. So I'm going to go back a little bit. You're from Brooklyn, I think you told me, right?
Yep.
But I met you in Livingston or somewhere. Where did I meet you? Oh, Fairfield, right?
That's right.
At an art exhibit, because you were exhibiting one of your wonderful people paintings,
Yes.
a portrait. I just fell in love with you. I don't know why, but there was something about you that drew me to you, and then you showed me your card, and that I knew I had to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you're from Brooklyn, but now you're not.
We're in New Jersey about 17 years, and I worked in Staten Island for all those years. And then about 10 years ago, when I got into this wheelchair, I decided I had to do what I always wanted to do, which was to get into the arts, because I always loved to draw and paint. And so I built a studio, which was putting the cart before the horse. And then I started taking lessons in Livingston and Summit and other areas. And then by word of mouth, people started coming to me with their commissions for their pets. That's how I started. And being I adore pets, it was a good fit, because I think it shows in my work that I love them.
There is no question about your affinity for animals and the loving touch that you give. And now your paintings are oil paintings. I know we have some reproductions of some smaller paintings, but they're oil.
That's what I work in.
And that's what you work in. And there aren't, well, you say there's still a lot of oil painters around, but the more and more I've been doing this show, the fewer and fewer I come across, because it's labor intensive to do oil.
It is. It is. It's probably could take anywhere from a week to 2, possibly 3 to complete a work. And it's expensive. Paints are expensive. But it's the medium that I love. It's very forgiving. You can work it and change things. And I think you can capture a lot of depth with oil paint. I love it.
And it's the cleanup, though, isn't it? That's the pain. And it's a little toxic, and there is.
Yes, but you know, they've been doing that for centuries, and I guess I wanted to be a part of that.
Well, and you know, frankly, I have a young friend who is an animal artist. There are a number of people who come into my life that are animal artists. One is an absolutely amazing cat whisperer who's helping with some of our pets in the immediate area in a home that had many animals. She's also a fabulous painter and a book illustrator, and she's taken the passion for art now to rescue animals, and still does paintings of animals too. But it's a certain kind of person who really has an affinity for animals. Did you grow up with that, or was that a new development?
I always loved animals. I didn't have parents that did, and so I never really got my first pet until I would turn 50. Every year from the time I was a little girl, I would ask Mom for a pet. And the first cat came into my life when I was 8, Fluffy. And within a month, Fluffy was lost, but we didn't know why. I found out about 10 years ago that my brother kind of
Escorted
sent
the
it
cat
away.
out
Yeah. So I didn't talk to him for a while.
Yes,
But,
yes.
And then when I was about 20, my girlfriends knew I always wanted kittens, so they brought me a kitten, and within 3 days, my mother gave it back. So, I mean, they weren't in my life. I always, yes, always. I love them. And so when I turned 50, I had been asking my husband, and he didn't want a cat. So when I turned 50, my 2 daughters bought me Fluffy and Bella. So that's Fluffy and Bella.
So you do have the cats.
Well, she's since passed, but
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, I think one of the reasons why I love this show so much, and I just really love artists, is the heart that an artist brings to their work, even if it's an abstract painting. There's true heart and soul in the expression of work. And for you, this is fabulous. You have your cat. And you can do and really fully explore and appreciate what you didn't have when you were younger.
Well,
So-
also, I think the beauty of what I do is that I love to give. I'm kind of a nurturer. And when people come to me and say that one of their animals has passed, and can I bring them to life again, I paint these paintings, and they always have tears in their eyes. They always say I've captured their spirit. And to me, that's like the best gift an artist can get, to be able to give.
and share with them something that's so important to a person because they're a family member.
They're a family member.
They're just not a
sure.
pet.
No, that's
Oh,
true.
they really become a member of the family. I had a cat. My animals don't like to leave, so I had a 22-year-old poodle and a 15-year-old Bichon and a 19-year-old
Wow.
feral cat that
Wow.
was found. And I was trying to pull back. I had a cat who followed me when I was a little girl, always had animals, and somebody destroyed the cat. And it really was about a tug of a child and appreciating life. What you do in your work is you give a loving expression to the appreciation of these creatures that we're blessed to have in our lives. So these are your 2 cats, and you did them. I want to go back to the fact, though, that you said your studio was the cart before the horse. I don't know if that's true, because you had it sitting there, waiting, lingering. You were
Well-
going to do this, and you helped to create. There's different philosophies about what comes first.
That's true. I mean, the idea was a seed, it was planted. Then I proceeded, slowly, expensively, but slowly, to build the studio. And then it was kind of overwhelming, because I didn't know if I had the talent for that big room. And so I kind of held off a little bit, and then I started. And immediately it clicked and it worked, and the work was good. I felt it was good. I mean, and I'm not that way. I'm very critical of myself. But I was happy with what I was doing, and people were happy. So, now that I'm in the chair, and I always worked all my life, and then all of a sudden I had to give up work in '04, couldn't come at a better time. It's like one door closes, another door opens.
Well, and certainly I think in our society in this day and age anyway, I don't really notice your chair. Is that okay to say that?
Yeah, you could say anything.
In my career as well, I'm a nurse and a rehab counselor, as you know, besides doing this show. But I've come to understand things so differently. And when an artist expresses themselves, it doesn't matter if the brush is in the mouth.
Well, that's
You
true.
see,
That's true.
it's really about the expression and sharing a talent, and in your case, giving something so important.
Artists can overcome a lot. There's Chuck Close.
Absolutely.
Paints with braces, and I have seen those painters that do paint with their mouth or their toes or what. When you have something inside, it's got to come out, so you figure out a way to make it come out.
Exactly. There's a vehicle, and even when it's Stephen Hawking, and
Right.
this brilliant mind found a way to be able to express his brilliance, and that is really truly a gift as well of human beings, I think.
sure.
But so, how many years have you been doing the painting of animals and people?
I say I started seriously in '04, taking classes and jumping really right into commissions. I've always done stuff like that. I was an interior designer for many years, and I went to school in my late 20s. And right after I got my certificate, someone came up to me and said, "You can do this apartment." you're going to incorporate right now. And I said, oh, no, I'm not, oh, no. And no, just do it. So I closed my eyes and I jumped in. And I think that's what I do mostly in this. I'm a little that way,
No, that's called courage. That's called courage. There's nothing foolish about that or nothing impulsive about that. That's courage.
Okay. Then I'm very courageous.
Yeah, I would say so, yes. Stepping out on faith or just a belief in yourself. I mean, it's certainly, and young people do watch our show. Honestly, it isn't only people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Mm-hmm. Although one of my best fans is no longer with us. She used to call and tell me when my hair needed a different shape.
Oh, that's
but
cute.
We do have young people that also watch because we have a lot of interested artistic types, mm-hmm. kids, performers, musicians that watch the show. We've even had a couple of students on our show. But what you do, I think, in sharing your experience here is you give them hope to maybe try to do something a little different.
Yeah.
Well, within the confines of making sense, I guess.
Well, I've taught children art also.
Okay.
In my studio. I've been teaching children from the ages of 4 through like 17 for the last 5 or so years, and you give them a little bit of encouragement and they just blossom. I mean, if someone tells you at this stage in your life that what you're doing is fabulous, don't you just want to do it more and
Yes.
do an even better job? And that's, I think, what I try to do for these children.
Well, and when somebody is asking you to do a commission of a painting of an animal, gee whiz, I'm assuming you use a photograph?
Yes.
Yeah, we have about a minute and a half left. Can you describe how that is to have the photograph of
Well,
the pet?
it's lovely to see the living animal, if possible, just to get an idea of their spirit and their personality. But you take a photograph, you make sure it's light and dark, and I've got a lot of strength in the photo itself. And usually I blow it up and I study it, and then I start doing my little bit of magic, because you have to, I think, yourself comes out in the work, and so you have to get your lights and your darks and the most captivating part of the eyes, so you capture that first, and then you work it around that.
So even in the animals, the eyes are the windows to the soul,
That
right?
is for sure.
Okay. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more, maybe about your technique, if you have any little secrets. We don't want to give too much away. Mm-hmm. And a little bit more about how somebody might approach you, and someday what we can do to have a blessing in this world of really caring for our animals. Okay, so when we come back, we'll talk some more. Stay tuned. Don't turn that dial, and come back and join me and Dorothy Siclare. I want to call you Leclerc,
That's okay. It sounds
Siclare,
pretty.
as we talk about animal paintings and the meaning of animals in our lives. And thanks for joining us. Don't go away.
Television is a powerful and influential medium that allows different groups the opportunity to produce programming that directly affects their own communities. Public, educational, and government access channels ensure that all people, regardless of race, age, gender, disability, religion, or economic status, have access to local government information and the use of a public communication forum. Make sure everyone has a voice. Support your local PEG channels.
Welcome back. This is Nancy Heins-Glaser for Meet the Artist, and I'm here with Dorothy Siclare, a fabulous people painter, but also a wonderful animal artist. And I want to thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for just sort of me happening to meet you at that happening to be there.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Art gallery, and being so willing to come on, even though we had an obstacle and didn't get you on last week. But I got you here now. And what I wanted to talk about with your work and capturing the essence, you talked about before the break that it's in the eyes. Is it also more than that? Is it deeper than the eyes? How do you capture the spirit of an animal in a painting so that people are actually moved to tears?
I don't think I know the process internally, but I do know that if you love your subject, children, flowers, still life, landscape, seascape, it's going to show in your work. I don't think I have a formula, but for some reason, I was meant to be doing this all my life. I always wanted to do it. The heart beats whenever I'm painting. When I finish, it's an exciting feeling. And I think that's all it is. I think if you're meant to do it, something happens inside of you between your creator, you, and your hand and the canvas. And all of a sudden, there it is. I mean, I don't know how to say it any other way, other than the process, which is a little boring for anyone that's not interested in painting. But it's an internal thing, I think.
And so it comes out. But you're able to interpret the internal spirit of the animal into...
I've been told.
Yeah. That's a special gift, I think. But everyone who loves animals and who has had them and loves and appreciates them.
I think that's the key.
It is. And, every one of them has a little nuance or a quirk or something hysterical that makes you laugh or drives you nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, And so it's that finding that beautiful balance between maybe a personality quirk, right? And a loving look. I mean, he's amazing.
He's very dignified, this dog. I know that dog. And he looks exactly that way. He's regal.
Absolutely. And she's precious, and this guy's a crack up,
These are great. This dog, Jersey, will balance anything for his master. So a ball, a leaf, a bow. I have party hats on his ears. I mean, we have amazing paintings of him. He's just a comic dog.
A natural, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe we'll have to have him on You and Your Pets. We have another show on our SOMAtv called You and Your Pets, and so maybe we'll have to invite a trick dog. Maybe he'd like to come and show off for us. But I think that by virtue of the fact you haven't been doing it all that long, I mean, many people have been painting 40, 50 years. You've really kind of gained a stride here fairly quickly.
I guess
think,
so.
Dorothy.
I guess I feel blessed and rewarded for my hard work, because it's been hard work. It's been a lot of money and time and dedication, but it's not work to me really, because it's a blessing. It's what I love to do.
In your passion. As they say, if you follow your passion, you'll always be rewarded. It may not always be monetary. You're lucky, though, because you seem to have been able to sell the work. Not always so easy.
Yes, that's true.
And for you to say that if people just picked right up on it, it happened fairly quickly for you. I think that's impressive. But it is your personality, too. And how is it work wrangling the animals? Is that difficult?
You mean as far as taking...
If you ever have to go look at an animal and take the photograph or
I
observe
usually
the
have
animal?
them come to the studio, and because animals like me, it's cute. So they're at peace when they come in, and I've never had a problem. I don't know. It just works out.
And how are the owners? Because sometimes I think, as they say, the only problem dealing with the public is the public.
I have never had anything but great reactions from them, and they are so anxious. They love these animals. They are family members, and they love them like children, and they want them to show in the best light, and they're just happy to do it. And money is no expense for them. It's just what they love to do.
And it's a certain type of person, I think, that really loves and appreciates animals, and certain types of people who don't as well. But we just need more of you, and more of my friend Jess, who's not with me anymore, and more of my friend Amy, who's also an animal artist. She's been on this show. Her name is Amy Charmitz, and she tells stories through her work. She always has words in them to express an inner feeling. She has a physical challenge. And I think somehow there's something in there, maybe the inner child we always wanted when we were little to hold that little kitten close or that puppy close.
Could be.
And you're able to do that through your work.
That's
you're
true.
holding them close, right?
That's true. That's true.
And the other thing I asked you when we were talking on the phone is is it true that animals or pet owners begin to look like their animals? Is that true? I mean, honestly.
Well, I've seen it time and time again. A gentleman with white hair and a mustache, and then this beautiful white dog with crazy hair. So, yeah, I see it.
And so maybe they gravitate toward the animal that looks like them. Oh my.
That's true.
You know, and
That
you
could
know,
be.
and that people are always assigning human qualities to animals. And I know that, you know, throughout the ages, that whole conversation of anthropomorphism, I can hardly pronounce it, but people assigning human qualities to animals. If you've had pets and you own them, there are human qualities, and certain breeds, I think, also have even more of an affinity for the human reactions or responding.
There's a
But-
language that takes place between pet owner and pet, and you can read each other. It's quite amazing.
And well, and now, how old is your cat?
She's 13.
Okay,
Yeah.
so she's hanging around for a while.
For a
too.
while. She'll be there. She'll
You
be
know,
there. Yeah.
I know, and I think that it's that give and take you're talking about that helps animals. You know, animals really need a human touch. I mean, they do survive outdoors. There are many ferals. There are communities that welcome feral animals, feral cats. In my neighborhood, we have one of the cat whisperers who's doing a trap neuter spay program to help the animals in the neighborhood and learn how to love the ferals instead of being so upset by them, by working with them. And, you know, there's all kinds of animals out there. I mean, the animals in our vanishing habitat and, you know, the deers. We have so many people in this area who are avid anti-deer hunter. And yet I'm from the Midwest where that's a big deal still, that there's deer hunting. And I find it difficult when I have a tie with an animal,
I know.
how you do that. I just hope that the larger conversation someday that we reach is that the importance of animals in helping us be humane. It's really about humans learning how to be humane through the work with animals, I think, don't you?
I think they teach you how to love, and that, I think, is the essence of what we're all about and why we're put on this earth. And they help us to love. And they're the most selfless givers that anyone will ever see. They don't ask for a thing, and we get so much from them. So,
It is true. Even our ferals, even my Sammy cat, who just didn't like anybody but her Bichon brother and me and my husband, you know, she was in our life for 19 years. So, you know, she had good strength and she had good quirky qualities about her. I just figured she found me, even though I found her. And that sometimes spirits and people come into our lives where it's true. We didn't really even invite them. They came there for a reason in particular. If we ever have an opportunity in this area to do a mega fundraiser for our animals, the animals who are in homes who didn't really want to be born and somebody raised them because they love them and didn't know how to stop the population, maybe you'll join us for an event,
absolutely.
would you?
Absolutely.
And if we do something like that, because really South Orange Maplewood are trying very hard, like other communities, to love their animals and love them more.
Sure.
And we need to step up to the plate as a society to do that. It's our job. I mean, without us, animals, for the most part, would have a tough time of it. But if we do that, you'll come on, and you'll come on again.
I will definitely.
What-
I'll even bring my paints and my brush.
All right, we'll do an in-process thing. So what's up for you? Do you have any shows coming up down the pike?
I'm in a bunch of shows right now. The one coming up in a few days is at the Farmstead Arts in Basking Ridge.
Of course, sure.
Myself and 3 other friends are showing their work. And I have 3 other venues that I'm in, and I have I have commissions that I'm working on.
Yeah, so you're always kept busy.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, are you also still taking class, or have you
They're
given
not
that
really
up a little
classes,
bit?
but I am working with Tom Valenti, who's the president of Allied Artists in New York. So he's a wealth of information, and I bring my work there sometimes. Just get a little critique here and a little
right.
critique there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I always have my finger somewhere in some pie, you know, trying to, because you always learn and you always have to grow, you know, and no matter how advanced you are as an artist, there's always something to learn.
And where was the show? Who was the person who had the show that I saw you at?
That was
Joan?
at the 1275 Gallery in Fairfield, and
Joan.
no.
It's okay. I won't remember.
Okay.
People will forgive us for that, though, that
Okay,
we
I'm
don't
sorry.
remember.
We're-
No, I
yeah.
shouldn't have put you on the spot,
No,
but it
that's
was
okay.
a wonderful exhibit, and it wasn't specifically having to do with nudes, and it's difficult.
I
in
didn't
this
know
day
if I
and age.
could say that.
Yeah, I
because-
did. I can say the word nude. We just can't feature a whole show of that, but
It's
and
a
it is-
venue that we can't ever exhibit
It seems
because most of
difficult.
our work goes into schools and libraries,
Right.
and so there's a
Got
lot
to be
of time.
sensitive,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
You know, we have 2 minutes left. Is
Okay.
there anything you want to say about your love of the work that you do, or to people out there in TV land who
Well-
might see us?
I just want to say that it's the most important thing we can do to take care of our animals, and I truly love what I do. I think I respect them and love them, and hopefully, if you ever need a portrait, think of me.
Very good, and it's
DorothySiclare.com.
Siclare, no I in
Correct.
there.
Correct.
And what we want to make sure is that our viewers keep an eye out for you, and when we do have a fundraiser, they all show up.
Thank you.
Because Artists for Animals,
Mm-hmm.
a special breed of person as well. And I want to thank you for watching us this evening. Please come back and join us again as we present another wonderful Meet the Artist program. We're so lucky to live around here, and I'm grateful for you
My pleasure.
to coming here. And we're grateful for you to watch our programs highlighting the artists and advocating the power of positive images for things that matter. And remember what they say, math and science may save the world, but only art makes it worth living there. Thank you for joining us, and come back and join us again.